Hey gang, here we are with another weekly haul, the comic books that I bought on October 21st, 2020. These are the new comics that I got, and then because I wasn't quite at budget, these are the dollar books that I got. Did a little diving in the dollar bins. So, if your favorite comic book came out on October 21st and you don't see it here, well, the question is, which dollar book did I decide I wanted more than your favorite book? Stick around and find out. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghai. My name is Duke, and this is another weekly haul. And again, this is October 21st, the buy date on these books. And yes, I know that was a couple of weeks ago. And yes, I know that a couple of weeks is like a couple of years in YouTube time. As I explained in a couple of recent videos, I've been kind of losing my mojo with the YouTube thing, kind of having kind of a crisis in faith, as it were, because I'm still only getting, fewer than 10 views per video. But I did recently have a couple of people come back at me in the comments and say, oh no, man, we do like your videos. Please do keep up with it. And one person even specifically cited these weekly haul videos as something that they like. So I guess I will keep at it. I'll keep plugging away here for a little while longer, see what happens. I don't really need to get to full monetization in order for the YouTube thing to be worth it for me, for it to be a worthwhile investment of my time. But if I could get to maybe, 50 views per video instead of 5, and if I'm having, kind of a regular, semi-regular dialogue with some fellow fans in the comments down below and other places based on these videos, that would make it, fun to keep doing. That would be a kind of an interaction that wouldn't be too far off from what I used to experience back in the analog days of the amateur press associations. So, like I said, I'll keep at it for a little while and we'll see how it goes. But if you like this video, please do like, share, subscribe, do all of those things. But the most important thing you can do is please share this video. Share it with some of your friends. Say, hey, I know you're a comic book fan. Here's a channel on YouTube you might like. And hopefully, they'll tune in and get turned on and, well, not turned on, but you know what I mean. So, hey, let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. Again, this is October 21st. These are the books that I bought. So first off, Daredevil 23 from Marvel Comics. And for my money, Daredevil, under writer Chip Zdarsky, is really the best book that Marvel is putting out right now. And I very much enjoy it, and I think I can recommend that to you pretty much without reservation. So do give that a try if you are not buying that already. Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy, issue 5 from Dark Horse Comics. I can't remember if this is 5 issues or 6. I haven't actually got around to reading the issues that I have yet, been pretty busy. I fully admit that I only bought this book because of the title, Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy. It just sounded like fun. I didn't know at the time that it was part of the Black Hammer universe by Jeff Lemire. Might not have purchased it if I had known. Not because, not to knock that series or anything, but just because, I wasn't on board with that from the beginning and all of the associated titles, so I might not have picked up this one. But again, the title just intrigued me at a time when I was less and less enchanted with Marvel and DC and looking for, alternatives and options. Stillwater. Now, Stillwater I bought simply because of Chip Zdarsky, because I enjoy Marvel so much. I'm like, well, he's got this book at Image. I'm going to give that a try. This is another one. I haven't got around to reading the first issue yet. This is number 2 from Image Comics. But, I do like the artwork. And I'm going to have to get on the stick and read that first issue, read this one, give you some reviews on here. Savage Dragon, number 253 from Image Comics. And this one, I've told you this story before, those of you who have seen these videos. I pretty much only buy Savage Dragon at the behest of a coworker who is a massive Savage Dragon fan. So I buy this book not so much to support Eric Larson, not that I have anything against Eric Larson, but more to support my friend. So those were the 4 books that were actually on my pull list. And because there wasn't much on my pull list for October 21st, I did buy off the stands these 2 books kind of in addition. Batman White Knight presents Harley Quinn. Now, I did not initially order this book because it wasn't by Sean Gordon Murphy. And even, the regular Batman White Knights, I only got into that because Sean Murphy is from Maine, or at least lives in Maine now. I don't know if he's from away or not, but certainly lives in the Portland, Maine area now. And the original White Knight series, he was using some backdrops, some buildings and architecture in and around Portland as his Gotham City, as kind of the models for the buildings there. And so I thought that was cool, and so I picked up the series for that. It was okay. I don't really love Sean Gordon Murphy as much as everyone else does. But I did not get this book, one, because it's more by Katana Collins than by him. He doesn't really write or draw this. And because, these White Knight books are $1 more per issue for really not much more in terms of content. But because this was a slow week with not much off my pull list, I went ahead and bought that off the shelf just to try it out. So once I read that, that will determine if I continue getting the rest of the series, which I will probably have to buy entirely off the shelf. Now, Stranger Things. I did try not that long ago a Stranger Thing comic, and I really hated it. It was by, if memory serves, Jody Houser. Now, Jody, I believe, is part of that Woke Woman's Whisper Network on social media. And I don't dislike her because of that, but I don't dislike her at all. But I did not think her Stranger Things book was good in the least. I think I read it in like 5 minutes, which is a pretty quick read for $3.99, and it was just terribly, terribly decompressed. It was like she was trying to write a couple of scenes from or for the TV show, and it just wasn't a good comic at all for that reason. But I decided to pick this one up, not because it's not by Jody Houser, but because, one shot. And I figure, well, the folks that are doing this book, they're going to have to tell a complete story in one issue. Let's see if they can do that. Let's really see, can anybody in the industry tell a complete story in a single issue? So I'm looking forward to see the success rate or not on that goal. So as I mentioned, I won't get too far away from the microphone. I'm just filming this on an iPad, and that serves as the microphone too. I'm pretty much just shouting into space, but still going to be fairly close. But as I mentioned, there wasn't this right here did not really fill my weekly budget. And so because I had a little bit of room, rather than buy anything else on the stands, I couldn't see anything else I really liked that really tripped my trigger other than those 2 books I did get, The White Knight and The Stranger Things. I went into the dollar bin to kind of fill out the rest of the budget. And so here are the books I bought from the dollar bin. First off, E-Man. This is First Comics, early 80s vintage. And E-Man was a thing at Charlton Comics back in the 70s. And then in the 80s, Joe Staton, the writer-artist, revived it at First Comics. I believe he actually owns this property. And that's why when DC bought out the Charlton heroes, Blue Beetle, Captain America, The Question, E-Man did not make that transition. It might be interesting to have an E-Man book at DC these days, maybe even in conjunction with some of those other, former Charlton heroes. I thought I actually had this book. I know I've read it before, and I swore I thought I had it. But when I was going through the dollar box and I saw some E-Man books, I used the CLZ app on my iPad to keep track of my books. It's okay. I really preferred the Realms of Wonder app at one time, but when my old laptop died, and with my new laptop I switched over from PC to Apple, the guy who does the Realms of Wonder app did not have a version for Apple, so I had to find something else. So I ended up going with the CLZ app, but it tells me, and, this is probably garbage in, garbage out. I've got 26,000 plus books in there, but it tells me that I don't have E-Man #1 from First Comics. I swear to you, I thought I did. I mean, I know I've read this. I know that's Michael Mauser. I don't know how I know that without having read any of these books. But it told me, so the bottom line here is I might already have this book. So I might be doing another video in the future, saying, anybody want an E-Man #1? I've got 2. So, yeah, I figured I'd try it. The CLZ app says I don't have it. And I thought I had everything in there. So I picked it up. And for $1, you can't go wrong. Then I also got this series, AZTEC Ace. This came out from Eclipse Comics, and this is also the early 80s. And the first issue here, the art was by Michael Hernandez. It was written by Doug, I don't know how to pronounce his name, if it's Monch or Munch or Moench. I have never known how to pronounce his name. So if you know, let me know in the comments below. But he's done a lot of, Batman and other things. I don't know what this series is all about. I mean, I'm familiar with the title in so much as I knew that it existed. But I've never seen it. Never even seen it, in the wild, so to speak, until I ran across it in these dollar boxes this past week. So I figured I'd give it a try. I think, judging by the covers, that it's some kind of time travel epic. Now, I told you Michael Hernandez did the art on the first issue. The rest of it is by Dan Day and Nestor Redondo. So here's a look at what the Dan Day version looks like. Redondo also inked that first issue. And here's kind of the rest. Now, you'll notice, by the way, before I go on to the rest, that's #3, and I got #1. So there was not a #2 in the dollar box. I think this series went about 15 issues. But if you've got an AZTEC Ace #2, please contact me, because I'm not sure I'm going to read any of these until I at least have #2. But as far as the covers for the rest, there's #4 and #5. These are still in the bag, so I'll try and hold them so there's no glare for you. #6. I don't know what's up with this giant cash register. That looks like something that should be a trophy in Batman's Batcave. #7. And then #8. And that's as much as there was in the dollar box. Like I said, I think this series went 15 issues, so I need to get the back half of this series as well as #2. But that's it. That is what I bought this past week for comic books. And if you don't see your favorite book here, then let me know what it is, why you love it so much, and why I should be trying it as well. Let me know your thoughts on any of these series. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. And until then, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.